him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present that day.
The Diddy trial is opening up. People keep making this all about Diddy rather than looking at everything that's happening around it. There's a lot of people that want to protect the Diddy agenda because it serves them, because allegedly they're all accomplices. Like I said last year, after the Cassie Diddy case was made public for the world to see on CNN.
If Porter had done what she done, there would be no Cassie to testify.
You know, Mr. Combs, SC and SC, thing 1 and thing 2. They've been covering each other's ass for a long time, guys. Y'all don't see what's going on? The death of Angie Stone, Clive Davis, Diddy, Rock Nation on the verge of utter collapse. What happened to Tory? Find a way to blame it on him. Now all of a sudden he was trying to start a race. Just so happens that he gets half the day. As the Diddy trial is opening up.
Jaguar Wright isn't backing down when it comes to Diddy. In fact, she just made a bold move by showing up at his trial and handing over new tapes to the prosecutors. These tapes allegedly showed Diddy engaging in inappropriate behavior with Bryce. Sheer back when Bryce was only 17. Jaguar has been calling Diddy out over what happened with Bryce long before Diddy's arrest. So there was no way she was going to stay quiet and let the world ignore what she claims Diddy did to that young man. Now, Bryce Shear, once considered a rising star with real potential in Hollywood, has ended up on Twitter, selling adult content on OnlyFans for almost nothing. According to Jaguar, Diddy and Will Smith allegedly took advantage of Bryce when he was still a teenager. She says they abused him and then passed him around to other powerful people in the industry, completely breaking him down. This lines up with what comedian Cat Williams once said about Diddy, that if you get invited to one of his parties, you better know when to say no. For those who might not be fully caught up, here's what allegedly went down. Bryce Shear entered a so-called mentorship program when he was 17. Supposedly under the guidance of both Diddy and Will Smith. His then manager, Charlie Mack, had hoped Diddy would help him break into music, while Will would boost his acting career. But according to Jaguar, there wasn't much mentoring going on. Instead, she claims the whole time was filled with disturbing behavior that left Bryce emotionally drained and soulless. Jaguar was actually one of the first to speak out about this. She accused Diddy and Will of using their mentorships as a cover for abusing young boys who were promised a shot at fame. She even described one horrifying incident where things allegedly got so bad.
They do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bryshere Gray, left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick.
Bad that neighbors heard Bryce Shear and Meek Mill running from Will's house with no clothes on, screaming for help. It's not clear exactly what happened that day, but many believe the abuse had been going on for hours, and the victims were so traumatized they were in and out of consciousness. And when you consider—
But when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being
That Cassie recently claimed Diddy's freak-offs sometimes lasted up to 4 days. These accusations didn't seem too far-fetched to a lot of people. What's even more disturbing is that actor Terrence Howard, who worked with Bryce on Empire, recently made some cryptic comments. He talked about powerful people in the industry sleeping with young men in exchange for favors. Many think he was referring to Bryce's situation. After his time under Diddy and Will's so-called mentorship, Bryce was never the same. His career fell apart. He got almost no acting roles and started running into legal trouble. One of the most serious incidents happened in 2022 when he was arrested and found guilty of aggravated assault against a woman he was seeing at the time. But this wasn't the first time he'd had a run-in with the law. Back in 2020, his wife, yes,
stars of the hit show Empire. Tonight we're seeing hours of new video from his July arrest that ended with his wife flagging down police and telling them the actor had her for hours inside their Goodyear home. The bizarre jailhouse interview lasting for 2 hours as they try to piece together a chaotic...
People were shocked to learn he was even married, ran to a nearby gas station asking for help. A man there helped her, and when the police got involved, she told them that Bryce had strangled her. When officers showed up to arrest him, he refused to come out of the house. It ended up turning into a standoff with the SWAT team, and it took hours of negotiation to get him out. When his mugshots came out, people couldn't believe how bad he looked. He was a completely different person from the bright young star he once was.
And when I say Andy, I'm talking about Bryshere's mom. I'm gonna kick you in your and then I'm gonna go to work North Philly style. And Charlie, you happy now? He's a gay star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book? And shell. I hope that new husband of yours leaves you. And maybe it's time you tell your son why his father is really in jail, his biological father, for all of his life, and what you had to do with it. You see, that came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to help her get here out of California into Chicago State to be ready for filming. She knew what Will did to him.
And just when it seemed like the situation couldn't get worse, Jaguar came forward again. This time, she gave even more disturbing details about what Bryce allegedly endured. She confirmed that Charlie Mack played a role in connecting Bryce to people who exploited him. But what really shocked people was her claim that Bryce's mother, Andrea Mayberry, knew about everything. And
now, so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. If Jaden and Justin present that tape exists.
Okay.
I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be a bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
You can't say that the flavor camp was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You just come on.
It sound that way, ain't it? All that talent. And she let Charlie tune that boy up on knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother would do that to her son? Turn him into a prostitute so you could pretend to be something more than what you were, which is nothing more than a filial. You're a big old and they're making your son out to be, that's for sure. Because he didn't have no choice. You was down by all. I'm sorry. The Bryshere conversation for me is not easy. Because I came to Belial and I asked Belial to help me save the kids, and all he was worried about was
allowed it all to happen. Jaguar also said that after Cassie filed her lawsuit, Bryce was speaking with lawyers and was planning to sue both Diddy and Will Smith. But he had to back out, allegedly because he feared for his life. According to Jaguar, there was real danger involved if he went forward. She even made a jaw-dropping claim that there's a secret tape involving Justin Bieber, Will Smith, Jaden Smith.
I do believe there's going to be a lot of curveballs. I do believe there's going to be a lot of interesting things. And what I will say is, be vigilant. We're getting started.
Is this a reckoning for the music industry?
Oh, it needs to be. And if it wasn't, I hope my presence starts.
Diddy and Bryce in one of these so-called freak-off sessions, and says she's one of the few people who has seen it.
That happened in the R. Kelly case. Because if that had been properly addressed, this would have been addressed back then. These people have been working together, they're all in groups for all of this time. And it needs to all be addressed. I'm glad it's not just me anymore. I'm glad it's someone else. I'm glad there are other people who need to be heard. I'll be sure. I'm glad they're hearing him. Cassie, I'm glad they're hearing her. Kim Porter. Through, I'll be sure. I'm glad. Natanya Rubin, I'm glad. All of these things. So yeah, it's mixed emotions, but I just know when you pray for something and God answers it, you should be.